Get to the chopper! Welcome to the Lost Levels review of Expendables 3, a movie that is a throwback to the 80s action genre, and we've seen the first two already. However, this one's a little bit different just because it's rated PG-13 as opposed to the hard R that we've seen in the previous two. The major difference, obviously, is no longer are we seeing the arterial spray when a bullet pierces skin and just obscene amounts of blood everywhere that we've seen in the other two. It was noticeable in the opening action scenes where they're on this train and some people are impaled by a cable wire. And there was definitely a moment where I kind of thought to myself, thinking that would have been a lot cooler in a hard R type of atmosphere. But Sylvester Stallone decided that he needed to broaden the audience for this and create a PG-13 movie as opposed to the hard R, and try to increase the audience because he kind of knows himself that this genre is kind of limited to the age restrictions or the 80s people that would enjoy the types of 80s action films that this is. So actually this is a really smart move by Sylvester Stallone, just because of the fact that he realizes that there is this deadline in terms of his age. All of these 80s action stars are getting a lot older in age now. And he decides to try to do what previous movies have done in the past and try to reinvigorate the franchise with youth. And he adds younger people to this team, people that we don't necessarily consider action stars. So if the series or this franchise is more successful, it can carry on without having to see 70-year-old Arnold Schwarzenegger or 70-year-old Sylvester Stallone going through the motions and trying to be action stars when we know that it's not physically possible for him at this point. So in a smart move, I think that he created an intelligent story around Expendables 3 to incorporate these new ones and try to not say necessarily retire the old, but have them take a step back in terms of the action scenes. So I think this works for the Expendables. This, for me personally, was the most enjoyable Expendables out of the three. It has, good action scenes. It has the funny, witty dialogue that we have from the previous two. However, not as cliched and cheesy as we saw in the second one, where we just kind of saw the stars kind of doing their taglines or their famous lines from previous movies that they've done. Yeah, you see it a couple times, especially with Arnold. Then there's a little joke by Wesley Snipes regarding his time incarcerated in real life. So I thought that was kind of funny. However, the dialogue is a little bit smarter in this film. Sylvester Stallone had help when he created the Expendables 3 screenplay and story. So this movie just comes across a little bit more fun. I was surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did because I really didn't expect very much from this film. And to be honest, it's a series that's kind of had its way. We got it the first time when we saw Expendables being announced. I'm like, oh wow, that's freaking awesome. We get to see our old 80s action stars. I think that was a great concept, and it came out exactly at the right time that it should have. Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it for a brief cameo, but we had Sylvester Stallone really taking the reins and creating a fun new movie and a new idea that all of us kids from the 80s would just absolutely enjoy. So in the second one, it's more of the same. It was kind of just there. It was boring. I didn't really enjoy the second one nearly as much as I kind of enjoyed the first one. However, this third one, I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. So in all honesty, I recommend going to see this movie, or at least renting it at the very least. Go to rent this film. I think you'll enjoy it. I think Sylvester Stallone doesn't get a lot of credit in terms of what he's actually contributed to Hollywood. He does a lot of stories, unique stories. He does, he created the Rocky series. He's done a lot of great things that, he doesn't necessarily get the credit for. And I think we're going to realize that until unfortunately, when he passes, because of the fact that he's just had such a major impact on Hollywood, and we would not expect that from an action star, because we kind of just still look at him as Rocky or Rambo, but he's done a lot of writing, he's done a lot of producing, he's created this great action genre and sustained it, and he's continued to sustain it with these expendable movies, and he's going to do more as he goes forward. So I really give Sylvester Stallone a lot of credit, and I really hope that a lot of people understand what he's actually done for the action genre. So my final thoughts on it: I would definitely go see this film in the theaters. It's just a fun, entertaining popcorn flick that you want to see when you sit down, and it's something that you expect in an action film. It's just good, solid fun. Yeah, there's plot holes everywhere, and you can get into the story, and maybe you don't necessarily like the change from the 80s action stars now moving on to the traditional, newer, younger, more sophisticated type of action. However, that's what we're going to have to see if we want to see more Expendables, just because our action stars are old from the 80s. They need to be able to retire and retire gracefully. And I think that Sylvester Stallone has created that in the Expendables 3, so if they do carry on with the franchise, we're going to see a smarter one, and we're going to see probably a little bit less action stars. Yes, there is problems, obviously, with not having enough screen time and enough character development for everybody, but that's what you're going to get in a majority of ensemble casts. So if you put all that stuff away and just go into it wanting to have a good time, you will. You're going to have a decent time with it, and you're probably going to walk away like, I kind of enjoyed that more than I thought I would have. Have you seen The Expendables 3? Let us know in the comments section below. Tell us what your thoughts are. Also, if you do like our channel, please subscribe to it. We also have a Twitter page, twitter.com/thelostlevel, Facebook, facebook.com/lostlevel. All this information is on lostlevel.com. We'd really appreciate it if you took the time to take a look and check that out. Also, like I said, please subscribe to our channel. We'd really appreciate that as well. And lastly, here at The Lost Level, we do a podcast where we cover the news in games and movies, where the guys kind of just sit around and share our thoughts on what's been happening in the world. So we'd really appreciate it if you took the time to check that out on iTunes. And again, talk to you guys soon.